Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. Today we're looking at Scream by Lewis. This was a February of 2021 release on New Element, and it won the Design Award with a pretty good score as well. This, if you're familiar with Six Flags Magic Mountain, you may realize is a recreation of Scream at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is a B&M floorless coaster, and it's actually a clone of Medusa Now Bizarro at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey, which was the first floorless coaster in the world. So let's take a look at this map. It's a little designed, so there's not a lot here, but what's here is really good. So it's a pretty hard layout to recreate in a decent way, just based on some of the elements that we have to work with here in the game, and also the shaping of the ride in real life. So Lewis is going with the steep lift hill, which honestly works here. Steep lift hill is not usually my favorite in these situations, but I think we're at the point in this one where it's sort of a necessity, but it looks pretty good. Nice big drop. You got your loop. Our dive loop is sort of bumped way out here, which makes the 0G roll a little funky, but not too bad, enough that it lines up for our diagonal brake run here, the mid-course brakes. And then our little final section here with the interlocking corkscrew is kind of done real well here. This is a really nice way to do this turnaround, nice and smooth through the whole thing. What's cool about this one, beyond just the layout, is all of the surroundings here. So if you're familiar with the real ride, it was built in a parking lot. So Six Flags has that reputation for parking lot coasters. This ride is largely where that gets or gets the name from, I suppose. So if we pop over to the coaster database, or actually to the aerial here, you can kind of see it was built into the parking lot, and you can kind of see here some of the old asphalt, even some of the old tram lanes and things like that. You'll also see all of the back of house maintenance and things like that, including some of these trailers, and then this big guy, which we'll see in Lewis's design. Here's a good shot from way back when, in 2003, when the ride was getting ready to open, or newly opened. But you can kind of see how it's just kind of out there in the parking lot. It's basically just built and then surrounded with the ride restricted fencing, and kind of that's about it. So you can sort of see the nice details of that. Honestly, a decent looking coaster as far as the colors go. I kind of like the purple here. Wish Lewis might have gone for that in the real one, but he went for the kind of lighter red color. It's since gotten a repaint with this orange, but I kind of like that original color better, maybe. But let's go back to the game and have a look here at the rest. So what kind of really struck me in February at the time, which was before Head to Head 9 and some of the other contest stuff going on, is how much level of what we call crunch, which is sort of this textural detailing of the paths and everything. This one went really heavy, like heavier than a lot of these sorts of builds has been. So it's kind of cool to see how heavy it goes. Now the downside is this does glitch a little bit, as you can see by this bus coming through, but it's one of those trade-offs for kind of what you're looking to do with it. The real park does have these nice shuttles. It's a huge park, and the parking area as well is pretty gigantic, so not surprising that they're going to have some shuttles. And we saw this on the aerial when we were looking at Google Maps, is all of this back of house space. So typically parks can do one of two things for maintenance on rides and things like that. Sometimes they may be decentralized, so each area of ride has their own kind of annuals area and just general maintenance area beyond just like the little coaster shed here. Like there'll be even more underneath of it. In the case of Six Flags Magic Mountain, there's a central shops region, which is a couple of different buildings, and that's where a lot of the rides are done. So in kind of true form here, we have all these great little details here, like here's the Revolutions Schwarzkopf train here. Over here is the old Morgan trains from Colossus. Here's an old Superman vehicle. Over here is Viper. So all those sorts of fun details and kind of clickable stuff, which I always appreciate. just to sort of increase the depth of the viewing, as well as water slides and tubes and rapid boats and buses and trams and all sorts of things like that, kind of throughout the whole space. And then two, this is really using those sort of half slope roofs that were just sort of becoming a more recent feature into the game. I kind of find it almost impossible to build it out without these days, which certainly I think says something now. And then lots of other just good details, all these little Connex boxes for storage and everything. Real parks never have enough storage, so you always see box after box after box and these sorts of things throughout. Nice landscaping in here, kind of suitably thick throughout the space. A little bit of manicured stuff going on here, but like we said with this parking lot coaster, it's sort of just buried in or set up in the middle of this parking lot. And as the park tried to sort of alleviate the idea that it's in the middle of a concrete jungle, we built a real jungle here with the landscape, and it's screened really well. Lots of trees, lots of other things here with this kind of concrete path coming in. Maybe a little heavy on the textural details here, but still not so bad throughout. Lots of good tree selection here and a nice variety of color. We've got sort of this warmer green, little cooler green, and then this sort of darker color. So works well, I think, from a color standpoint, because as you zoom out, you get into this very heavy gray, heavy brown sort of look, but you're punctuated with all these nice little colors with the parking details over here, of which I think it's very clever that the entrance being kind of off to the side here to the right, there are more cars here and it thins out as we get along further down. I think that's a nice little detail there. But the coaster colors and this landscaping and foliage and all that really helps this sort of area pop compared to the rest, and it is done pretty well. Now, coaster-wise, the mid-course brakes here are dummy blocks, so they're not actually doing anything as far as slowing the train down. You could shoestring this, but honestly, it's coming in there at a pretty decent speed, so it's not really necessary to do so. Because of that, it sort of eliminates the need for or the ability to run 3 trains in a realistic manner in this map. So he's dropped a third one over here in the maintenance area. So that is a cool little touch there. This station, along with a lot of the coaster stations at the time that Six Flags was doing, is pretty suitably simple. There's not a whole lot. There's sort of this, like, I don't know if you could even call it an architectural detail, but these sort of big yellow frame pieces here, and then this flat roof over top, and that's pretty much it. It's bare bones, I guess you would say, at the most basic. But on the whole, I think this is very nicely done. Lewis is always quite good with coaster layouts, coaster supports, details, things like that. So definitely something that you would expect to see with this sort of a ride and design submission. He's got a ton of coaster designs on New Elements, so you can follow the link in the description to download this ride, but you can definitely check out his profile to download quite a few others as well. And to be honest, we'll probably study some more of those here on stream in the future. But that is it for this one. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this one, and we will catch you in the next one. If you have any suggestions for designs or maps or anything that you would like to see reviewed, feel free to let me know, and I will add it to our list. You can join us in Discord, of which the link is also below, and post your suggestion there, or just leave a comment. We always look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, thanks very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye now.